If you've been online for a substantial period of time, especially in some of the earlier days of YouTube, more likely than not, you've probably stumbled across the food cryptid that is Jack Scalfani, known best for his culinary YouTube show, Cooking with Jack. Jack Scalfani is the epitome of I'm right, you're wrong in cooking form. He's been talked about, mocked, laughed at. He was even on some bootleg redneck Dragon's Den at some point where he cried. But regardless of how you may know him, or if you don't even know him at all, you should know one thing about Jack. He thinks he's the smartest chef alive, cocky enough to even release his own line of sauces and meat rubs entitled The Best Blank You'll Ever Eat, which I'm pretty sure has now been discontinued after a fairly lengthy deal with Walmart. Jack's videos have been a pretty frequent go-to when it comes to looking for stuff to watch and laugh at with friends, and it seems like Jack's been making a resurgence in the commentary community as of late, so I figure now might as be a good time as any to look over something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. The first video we'll be taking a look at is his Lazy Man's Pizza and Garlic Bread video. Right off the bat, probably my number one or number two favorite intro of his, and that's saying a lot considering Jack has had a lot of intros over the years.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another show. So much to tell you. Things are starting to change in the show. Like for example, I've got fan mail now. Is this cool? This is totally awesome. So I got an email from Jonathan from Argentina, and he asked me one question. He says, in my country, we don't speak English.
I highly doubt that Jack has actually received much fan mail, let alone from somebody in Argentina who, as he says in the letter, they don't frequently speak English, but the fan still went out of his way to type a full English email.
He asked me one question. He says, in my country, we don't speak English. I was just wondering what you refer to when you say a package of seasoning. If you guys remember the chicken marinating video, a package of seasoning came packed in with the chicken, and I had tossed it off to the side. I have already answered him personally, but I wanted to answer to anybody else who was wondering, outside of America, what we consider seasoning.
I don't think people were confused about what seasoning is, Jack. Plenty of people understand what seasoning is. I think if this letter is real, what they were talking about was when you referred to the pack of seasoning, whether it was a pack that came with, I believe this was from one of his shake and bake videos or something like that. But I believe that they were referring to when he talked about tossing one of those aside, not just a random pack of seasoning. Anyway, I'm looking way too deep into that.
So keep the emails coming. My email is on the screen right now, or you can contact me through Twitter.
I wonder if that email is still active.
And now it is time to move on to our cooking tip. Okay, are you ready? You know what we're doing today? Another lazy... I'm sorry. Another lazy man's recipe. Well, are you ready?
I don't ever recall him doing like an intro for most of his Lazy Man food segments.
This one we're going to start off with. We're going to do two of them on the show. First one we're going to do is Lazy Man's Pizza. People have been asking, well, let's see you make pizza, because I ripped on the pizza places. Pizza Hut and Papa John's and Costco just had like the nastiest pizza.
The fast food places have the nastiest pizza. Jack has the best, obviously.
All right, see, here's all you need. This is easy. English muffins, shredded mozzarella cheese. You can use different cheese, you know, if you want the Mexican blend, whatever. Here's the sauce that I got ripped off on.
The sauce I got ripped off on. Jack, this pasta sauce in particular that you're complaining about getting ripped off on is only $2.48 right now on Walmart's website, which is only $1 more than their great value in-store brand.
And these new little, check this out. My wife found these at Costco. They're like little mini pepperonis.
Apparently, Jack has also never heard of mini pepperonis before.
All right, you're going to lay out the all the English muffins and just simply start putting a big glop on each one. You can go around and spread it later.
Now, you don't have to be a genius to put two and two together and see that the ingredients he has, he's clearly making English muffin pizzas, something that I've made dozens of times as a kid, and it's perfectly fine to make quick and easy meals for yourself. The problem with a lot of Jack's lazy man recipes is that he just takes prepackaged processed products, throws them together, and declares that he's some revolutionary for making this item that a 5th grader came up with 25 years ago.
I have no idea how these pepperonis are going to work out, so we're just going to kind of toss them around there, and there we go.
I understand they're mini pepperonis, Jack. They're a bit harder to handle and precisely place, but I count about 6, maybe 5 or 6 pepperonis that are just not on anything.
So here's the finished product. We're going to pop this in under the broiler in the oven. And once again, there's no specific time length. Depends on how much cheese, how much stuff you put on there.
Oh, look at Jack getting all fancy with his English muffin pizzas and putting them in the oven. Be a real man like the rest of us and just pop them in the microwave.
It's kind of important. Depends on how hungry you are. I'm going to put my pizza about halfway in. You can go on the top shelf, but it's closer to the flame. You're going to have to be right on top of your pizza, watching it carefully, and it could burn. So I like to take my time, go to the middle rack, stay further from the broiler flame, which is up above, and that will give me more control over the pizza so I don't burn it.
So Jack says to put the pizzas under the broiler, yet then he says to put it on the second rack, usually the middle rack of the oven, because it's further away from the flame. That's gonna make it take longer to cook, which is something I don't really think you want with a lazy man recipe.
Okay, it's been about, I would say 12 minutes.
12 minutes? Jack, just throw it in the microwave, my guy. It's not like we're creating high gourmet cuisine here anyway.
Now, some of you have said, Jack, please stop eating on camera because it's killing us. We're starving. It looks great. So I'm just going to take a bite and let you know how it tastes. I'm not going to rub it in at all. Wow. That was good. Here. You want mine?
No.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that to you. That was so cold.
If anything's cold, Jack, it's probably the pizzas.
Thanks for watching the show, but before you go, let me tell you about my line of sauces.
And as I was talking about with the sauce plug.
And if you want more, I got the best gourmet seasoning you'll ever taste. Look at that, baby. Check it out at thebestsauces.com.
I don't think I'll be doing that, Jack. Hey, Jack, if you happen to have any of these sauces, I would actually genuinely be interested in trying some of them.
It's time for Lazy Man Recipe 2 of this video, and it's going to be Lazy Man's garlic bread.
Yeah, let's get the good old country crock in here. Country crock, the best nut butter you can get in a gallon tub.
So now let's get in close again, and I'll show you how to do the Lazy Man's garlic bread. And by the way, if anybody knows the difference between Italian bread and French bread, you know what? It all smells good to me. Could you write me or Twitter me and let me know what the difference is? They always look the same to me, so it doesn't matter. They're kind of interchangeable. But there might be a difference that I don't know about, so let me know.
Now, Jack says that Italian and French breads look very similar to him, and I think I know why he says that. Jack is very much the kind of person that would shop for most of his groceries at a large retail store like Walmart or Meijer or Kroger or whatever's in your local area. But this packaging in particular looks like the bread from the Walmart bakery section, which I have frequented many a time, and they do tend to label just their plain loaves of bread as French or Italian bread without much discernation between them, and this isn't on Jack, I guess, though as somebody who's been doing this for 15 plus years and claims to have such a wide array of culinary expertise, you'd think he would be smarter than to be fooled by the labeling in the Walmart bakery. Put simply, regular French bread, more commonly thought of as like baguettes, tend to be longer and skinnier, whereas Italian loaves are shorter and plumper. I find myself to be in between, being longer but also plumper. That was a bad joke.
So here's what you got. You got your bread. You've got your bread knife. Yes, that's right. I have the correct knife. And then we have oregano seasoning, and then we have minced garlic.
Normally, I would nitpick somebody for using minced garlic seasoning, but this is a lazy man's recipe, so I can't harp on him too much for that. But Jack does still tend to avoid using actual fresh cut garlic in a lot of his real recipes, if you want to call them that.
I don't have the best knife skills, by the way, as you guys have already commented. So I'm going to cut down the middle first. And I think we're going to do it long ways. You can cut your, yeah, you can cut them this way if you want, straight across, and have small pieces. Or you can cut long way, and then, here we go, you can have big giant pieces.
You could have just cut the whole thing down the middle lengthwise without cutting it in half first. You're making an awful extra lot of work for yourself for a lazy man recipe, Jack.
Heavy dose of butter. You're thinking, wow, that's a lot of butter. Yeah, it is, but you have a thick piece of garlic bread. So smooth that out. You can do that with every piece. So now it's all buttered up. You're going to grab your minced garlic first, or your, remember, garlic powder. Any of the forms of garlic will do. I don't recommend doing garlic salt. It's just too salty, okay?
Can you say that one more time for me, Jack?
I don't recommend doing garlic salt. It's just too salty, okay?
I don't recommend using garlic salt because it's too salty.
And now this one, you got to be a little more careful. So I just tap my finger on it until it starts to come out. Just give it a tap. You don't want too much of this. This is just more, honestly, it gives it a little bit of flavor.
The seasoning gives it a little bit of flavor. The seasoning gives it a little bit of flavor. Yeah, I know. I know, Jack. I know.
But you can see everything, the outside's crispy and hot. Okay, so we're going to cut this open. So if you get it close to your nose, I know you can't do that because you're not in the video with me. You can smell the butter and the garlic. Like the garlic's almost like roasted.
The garlic I put in the oven almost smells like it's roasted.
And then you can also, the oregano was great.
Did he put oregano on this? I don't recall him putting, I remember him putting basil and garlic.
And then we have oregano seasoning.
That is not oregano seasoning, Jack. It says basil on the label.
And now this one, you got to be a little more careful. So I just tap my finger on it until it starts to come out.
I can't tell if that says basil or not. It looks like a B, but at the same time, it also looks like it says like BAML. I could be completely wrong about this, though.
Just give it a tap.
No, that clearly says basil. That very clearly says basil. I'm not crazy, and I know basil and oregano are not the same thing. Stop gaslighting me, Jack. I know what I saw. And that is going to do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed the video, why don't you leave a like and subscribe? We're trying to hit 500 subs by April for the channel's 5th anniversary. Let me know if you want to see more Cooking with Jack videos in the future. I would definitely be down to do more, or other bad cooking channels and things like that.